Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I am so glad to be here with you today. Hi, Michelle. Hope you're having a good day. It's kind of cloudy and overcast here. I don't know about your side of the hill. Oh, I am in the final days of prepping for Open Studios, which is this Saturday, this Sunday, and then the following Saturday and Sunday. If you are out there watching and you are anywhere near Scotts Valley, send me a message. I'll give you the address. I'm Studio 212, and I would love to have you come out and meet me and see my art. So I had to think really hard last night. What could I do today? Because all my art's finished. Hey, Philippa, good morning to you. And so I realized there are some things I want to start working toward. And one of them is smaller sculptures rather than getting so big, and things I could finish in a more timely fashion. So I did, let me switch my cameras around, pull together a few things in white because, you know, it's so much fun. Ooh, baking chicken with teriyaki sauce. Yum. Love teriyaki chicken. Oh, now you make me hungry. I'm going to have chicken for dinner, but not with teriyaki sauce. Darn. So this is just a piece of felt, and I just kind of went through my stash box real quick today and just kind of looked for odds and ends that I didn't use anywhere else. And so they can just sort of start to build something. The idea being if I add some bits and pieces, I was looking for some big cord that I could couch down, but maybe this one's not going to have it. I've got this fuzzy stuff. And then we're just going to see what happens. Hey, Phyllis, glad to see you here today. She said, hope you are well and able to relax. You know, I'm feeling better. A few days ago, it was definitely close to meltdown time. I even warned my husband I might burst into tears at any moment. Lots of issues with getting things in the frames and getting the right frames so everything matched. Still had a few issues last night, but I think it turned out to be for the better. And I think I've kind of shifted my mindset enough that what happens, happens. I'm so proud of how much work I got finished that's been hanging around. I'm really happy to see old work, you know, flat surface embroidery that's framed and sitting there waiting for me to figure out what to price them at. I've got all my other stuff in white frames. I just have to cover the backs and put the wires on today. So, you know, I'm feeling pretty good about what all I've gotten together. And hey, there is Sandy. And yesterday I took my 7 unearthed sculptures to the photographer and had him shoot those. The rest of the stuff, I didn't have him do the rest. If I need to, I'll have him do them after Open Studios, you know, if they're still here. But those are the ones I wanted to make sure. There is Tanya. I have been missing you, wondered where you were. She said, I caught you, just recovered from 2 weeks of COVID, still ill, but so happy to be here with all of you. Oh, I was worried about you. Ick that you've got COVID. Michelle said hi to everybody. So I'm just going to kind of, you know, there's no rhyme or reason when I do these. It's sort of like doing a just because book because it doesn't matter. There are no rules. I'm just kind of making a mass of textures that then I'm going to sculpt into something else. So I think, and rather normally, you know, I start with French knots, and I've got some yarns here, so I can do some French knots if I get these things stitched down. But I thought this time, let's start with some other stuffs. So let me know what's happening in your corner of the world. After this today, I'm going to put the backs on my framed pieces and put the wires in. And then I have a little booklet thingy that I want to get done. Oh, and I came up with, I think is a good idea for something. I've got this really long island in my studio, and I've been trying to think what I wanted to put out there. And I think I took out samples of a lot of the different stitch things or some work in progress, and I'm going to lay them out on the island. And then I'm going to have a question like, what stitch do you think this is? And they can flip it up and they can see what it is. And what materials do you think this is? And that sort of thing. So I don't know. I think that would be fun. I have a really big needle. Well, I mean a needle with a really big hole. Oh, I know where I have those. So I think that's going to be fun, but it'll have to be the last thing I do. So if I don't get to it, it's not going to be the end of the world. I just need a needle with a really big hole, and I know I have one in here. Yeah, I think it would be fun too, Sandy. So that would be really fun. I just think it would be a way, because people want to see not only your process, but the materials you use and how you use them. And I just pulled out all kinds of things. I don't know. We'll see. And of course, I'll take a video. I'm planning lots of videos of all the things. Let's see if this is big enough. And then I have a little little care card I want to print out. So if anybody buys anything, I can send them home with that. I need a threader. Where is a threader? There we go. Michelle said, not much happening. Got to start a new stitching project again. My little projects get done fast. Yeah, and I'm kind of thinking, depending on how things go at Open Studios, I think it will give me some insight as to some small projects that I can finish quickly. And there'll be things that I could do here on the live stream and then plan out my larger projects. Sue says, just popping in to say hi. We have out-of-state granddaughters visiting, so I won't be hanging around today. Oh, enjoy that, Sue. How wonderful for you. All right, again, there is no rhyme nor reason. This is just going down somewhere. And I can tie off those yarns on the other side. It's a really wonky pom-pom. And you know I'm going to have other stuff going up against it, and that's okay. And you can't see my fingers underneath because I'm not, it's hard on these stands. I can't easily flip them over. But there we go. All right, we're just gonna make little texture piles is what I'm thinking. I do have needles threaded for that. Oh, I've got these little pom-pommy guys. Let's put some of these guys in. And this is unusual for me. I do not normally start like this. Normally I start with the flat stuff. So we'll see how this goes. And it would be fun if this works like that, because I'm sure it's going to come together differently. Terry said, all of your finished projects have been gorgeous. Thank you, Terry. I'm very proud of myself, and I can see very much the evolution of my art journey, which is really fun to see. You know, so it's going to be exciting to have people here in the studio seeing what I've been doing and see what they think about it all. Or maybe nobody wants to see fiber. You know, there's so many acrylic and oil painters and watercolor painters and linotypes and ceramicists. There's all that other stuff here. I feel a tickle in my nose. I might sneeze. So I'm either going to get people that want to come because my stuff is completely different, or people that say, you know, I have no interest in something like that. Ooh, I kind of like, okay, I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see. When I stitch through the pom-pom, I don't know if you can see, there's a little divot there. And I think I like that. It takes away the perfection. You know how I feel about perfection of the pom-poms, because I just cut those off a long thing of pom-poms. Okay, so we're gonna make some more divots because I think that would be a good effect. Oh, come on. I have learned so much about framing. The stuff looks so much better framed, but man, do I hate doing anything to do with framing. I mean, hate with a passion. So I'm going to have to figure out some other avenues on that going forward. And maybe I won't have as much to frame going forward because I won't be, you know, trying to finish old work. But it's kind of like the piece behind me, if you can see it, the suspended in blue. I'm really so pleased with that because it started off just as a mess of something that was flat, and it sat for 2 years easily before I started to get an idea what I might want to do with it. Oh yeah, this is much more interesting. And I realize it's hard when I work in whites online. You can't really see a lot of the details, but hopefully just getting this base down. And, you know, you can just think of this, if you're doing flat work and you're doing something like a just because book, stuff doesn't have to happen in any kind of order. I think I'm going to group 3 of these guys. You see, I just cut them off of this little guy off the end, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And Tanya said, or Terry said, Tanya, Terry is sorry to hear about your COVID bout. Yeah, that wiping you out like that. The shot didn't make me sick. I got my shot and my flu shot, but I put one in each arm to get them in at the same time. And I can't do that again. I'm going to have to get them in my dominant arm going forward because I have the bursitis and the impingement in my left arm. And I tell you, so much pain. I still have pain, but at least I'm covered. Well, the white's coming in clearly. Okay, good. I always worry because I know the lighting can be, of course, it's overcast enough right now. All right, other people might think, why did she's ruining these circles, but I really like, these are not perfect. And of course, when I get to the beads stage, I can always add beads. And that is something I did learn is I probably would have finished a lot of things sooner if I like gotten to the inline with stuff like beads. I left so many things to be beaded, and that was not the wise way to go about it. It really wasn't, because there was just too, the beads just take too long. Yeah, I like the little circles, and then you can take, I don't know if you guys remember, I had these little from Floral Stuff, and you can kind of put them in between. I might do that, but I don't have enough of them here, so I'll wait until I have more. And again, this changes so much as you add the beads and French knots and drizzles and all the other stitches we love. So they are working outside one guy's working on continuing to prep the walls for stucco. And there's another guy down in the yard working on the landings for the stairs. One of them got finished yesterday, and we sat down on it last night while Tally was playing in the yard. And I'm so excited to have this new stuff in the yard. It makes our yard even more usable. All right, we've got some naughty things here. This is just, I don't know what it looks like. Maybe, I don't know. That was something. It was a something. So we're just gonna. Tanya said, I got the vax and boosted every year, but I still get at least 2 bouts of COVID each year. Part of it is being constantly exposed, living in the city, and husband going to music festivals and bringing it home. Oh, man, that stinks. Just stinks. All right, and whenever I have, the little loose ends like this, that's just more texture as far as I'm concerned when I'm doing this kind of work. Speaking of festivals, Terry, how is all your production going? I know you've got the Ren fairs to get ready for, and you've got your Christmas stuff to get ready for. Tanya said, thank you, Terry. Yeah, this is kind of a neat way to do this. Just not. Now when I go to add French knots, I'll have places I can use the French knots to kind of anchor this stuff. And right now this is on felt, but then the felt will be backed with some cotton or muslin or something before I try to sculpt it into anything. I thought I had more of these guys. Okay, this is just a little ring covered in some sparkly stuff. And I think I can pull that through. Had a whole bunch of old those white curtain rings. I guess, no, they were like cafe rings. And they're perfect for wrapping with yarns. Terry said, I just finished blanching and prepping about 2 bushels of tomatoes, 6-gallon bags full. Wow. That's great to have in the freezer. Tanya said, the long fluffy piece on the right, is that a fluffy yarn or something I created? That is just a fluffy fake fur kind of thing. And so I just cut a chunk of it off and figured I'd just kind of play with it. Actually, let's do that now. Michelle wants to know if you grew your tomatoes, Terry. And what's neat about this kind of a fake fur thing is you can, like if you have space in between things, you can use it as a filler, or you can just start kind of stitching it down, or you can knot it. Although in the knots, it's not as effective. I got some other knots I like better, but I just kind of start stitching it down however. Okay, I think this is going to be good. I think this is exactly what I needed to be doing today because I didn't have to think about it too far. All right, and we're just going to bring this out because when I get to the beads section, Terry said, I have a big 2-day event this weekend. I had a show this last weekend. Oh, I hope you had a lot of good sales and good feedback. Oh, I also forgot my little velvet balls. Oh, well, you can always just keep adding stuff in. So we just have a little kind of moundy thing. And you can take, so I've got some little knots, teeny tiny knots, and you can put, oh, I like that. Okay, let's see if I can get those through the needle. Jill said, I like those fluffy pieces you can add. Yeah, that's just, I don't know, it just adds another flavor of texture. You know me, it's all about the texture. All right, so I can't do this both at once, so we'll do one. Let's see if we can get the other one in. I'm just trying to thread my knots, the strands from my knots into the needle so I can pull it through. I might not be able to get through the fluff, but I think I can make it work. Did a little bit of cleaning in the studio yesterday. There's going to be a lot of stuff I'm going to have to figure out, how to put away better after open studios, but I think it'll be fine for the event. Yeah. Oh, good. I was able to pull. Sometimes you're never sure if you're going to be able to get it all the way through. All right. I like those knots in there. They're a little shiny. I have some other knotted pieces, but they're not shiny like this. Terry said, yes, this year we had 3 6x8 and 18x20 greenhouses full of just tomatoes, plus more greenhouses with other veggies. Wow. Farmer Terry. Okay, and now I'm just going to add one more little stitch. This will be good too to have something in progress to show people for open studios. All right, I have only a small amount of thread left, so I'm just gonna, hey Barbara. Hi everyone in chat, enjoy. Golly, 2 weeks of being sick. I know, isn't that horrible for Tanya? What's happening in your neck of the woods, Barbara? This felt is not going to hold any kind of knots with this thin thread, so I'm going to knot it on top. I do have to put the sticks on the scroll. Got to remember to do that. That's the last big thing I think I can do today. Terry said the weather last weekend was awesome. I had the best year in a long time there. Oh, that's wonderful. I am so glad for you. All right, I'm just going to leave those strands long. They'll get covered up by everything else, and then I don't have to worry. So I left these long pieces. I don't have to worry about the knots pulling through the felt. All right. I do have some of this rat tail cord. Just kind of, I think I'm going to save that for things to get farther along. All right. I've also got some netting. Barbara said, I don't know yet. I'm deep into Inktober Tangle, so I have my tangle to do today. So I'm going to cut this into, it's just a random square I just pulled off. I'm just going to cut it into 3 sections. Not trying to be even or anything, but I just want to have 3 bits of this Like Zentangles, Michelle. She want to know what tangles are. Barbara can give you a better explanation. So I've got, now I cut that into 3, I don't know if you can see it, 3 strips. And what I'm going to do, now I could be real random like this. I could baste it down the center, but what I'm going to do to get kind of a different look. Okay, and first I need to catch, just catch my knot. Come on. And I'm just going to baste kind of like in a zigzag mode. It just means it gathers a little differently, and sometimes you can get some fun effects. And they're very wide. It's a very wide diagonal, but I'll show you here just a sec. Michelle said I wasn't sure if it was something stitched. Ah, yeah. Barbara said, Michelle, it's one of the Inktober challenges. Yes, Zentangles. A woman named Stephanie Jennifer decides on a list of Zentangles and publishes it. All right, so you can kind of see I've just got like a very loose diagonal. And this gets really fun when you do a long one. And then when you pull it, you just have kind of an interesting little gather. You can see it on there. So I'm just going to tuck it right over here. Tangles suggest stitching, Destiny. Yeah, or a lack of stitching because everything's all tangled. So again, this is just another neat little thing. So I've got 2 more I can do, but it's easier if I wait until I'm starting a new thread. You know, and you can manipulate it more if you want, but I just kind of like it popping up like that. All right, what else do I have here? I have some more knots. You know, so just little short bits of knots. When you have like yarn left over on something, it's kind of fun just to make a couple knots and you'll have them hanging around when you need them. Maybe this guy's going to go over there. Okay, let's start with the knots first. And because I can't get that through my felt, I'm just going to stitch it down. And I'm just going to do a couple stitches over the loop. Wow, Terry said, oh my gosh, I just got an ephemera order for 12 sets. Congratulations. That's a nice sale. Barbara said, you can look up Inktober Tangles on YouTube and find a bunch of people who are participating. Also Instagram. I need to scan my first 7 days and post on Instagram. Fun stuff. Now, I think I'm just going to kind of manipulate this a little bit. These will get secured more as I get to the point where I'm adding French knots and beads, but yeah, that's a good start there. And let's just add some more of this poofy stuff over here. So I think I've got titles on all the art that needs titles. So that's always time consuming. So I think it's mostly a matter of getting the backings on things and figuring out my prices so that I'm consistent. Now, do I have any more of that kind of knot? I don't. It's a different kind of knot. Let's just, no, we could add another little pom-pom. I'm on Instagram lately a lot more than YouTube, but I think it's because I haven't had the brain bandwidth to look at a lot of videos, and Instagram, I can just kind of look at the pretty stuff. Barbara said, I'm on Instagram very seldom, but I do like to post there since most people I know are on Instagram somewhat. Yeah. Oh, Michelle, do you know what? I do not know off the top of my head. It does have a name. I don't remember. I'll have to wait until I don't have it in the frame yet. So when I get it in the frame today, I will post it with the name. I want to kind of start a notebook where I can grab all the names that I've been brainstorming all over the place and get them in one place, because the ones that I don't use now, I may want to use again later, and then I can stop myself from having to go crazy. Wow, this one doesn't want to let me go through it. All right, there we go. Yeah, this looks really funky right now, and that's okay. I love it when they're at the ugly duckling stage, because now I have enough confidence to know that I'm going to pull them through the other side and make something really neat with them. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of white over here. Oh, I might be able to pull these through. I didn't always, I mean, a month ago, I didn't have that confidence. So preparing, I mean, even if nothing sells at Open Studios, which could happen, I need an even bigger needle. What I have learned through this process has been amazing. And stuff that I thought was just kind of so-so, that's the stuff that's getting the biggest feedback from people. So it just goes to show you can't, there's no telling. There's just never any telling. Let's see, those are blunt needles. So I don't know if that'll work. I can try one. Sandy said, I had no idea I could actually stop myself from going crazy. Susan, I'm learning so much from you. Well, we'll see if it lasts, but I'm pretty happy with the change in just my way of approaching a lot of this stuff. Michelle said, I like creating lots of things. Yeah. Phyllis said, I used to do a lot of neurographic art. Similar, so much fun. I could do it for hours. Yeah, I actually came across my sketchbook where I had some tangles in them. I enjoyed it, but it didn't obsess me like Stitch did. So it was like, if I was probably, stuck, not being able to do a lot of other things where I needed to concentrate or what have you, I might go back to it. No, I liked it on this side over here by these little guys. I don't know if this is going to work, but oh, it did. Felt is pretty forgiving. All right, so now I have just enough of that left that I can just add a couple stitches. Yeah, this is really wonky. And I think the key, for me at least, of not letting myself go crazy is to realize or to remember, everything I'm doing, I am doing to show other people that it's okay to follow your own heart. You don't need to create something that's gallery worthy. You don't need to create something that's going to sell. You just need to create from your own heart and know that that's enough. And that you are enough, just however it is you're creating, whatever you're creating or whatever you're not creating. Maybe you're one of those people that's a supporter of other creators, and those people are super valuable. So I just hope that when I'm working and letting go of all the expectations of the world and myself, and just say, this is what I'm doing today. This is me right now. This is the season of my life that I'm in. And if I can accept that and take joy in what I'm doing in the moment, then maybe somebody else will let go of some of the expectations they have on themselves as well. And they can just go out and create for the heck of it, because creating for the heck of it is so much fun. When I started looking at the work just to get finished and framed so I could look at it, and I was already planning, if nothing sells, I know where things are going to hang in the studio. It started my brain shifting. It's like, it doesn't have to sell. the money is nice because, hello, we're on month 5 of construction. But if it doesn't sell, I have places for it to go in the studio, and I can look around at all this art and see my journey. Do I worry about dust getting on the pieces, or is there a protective spray? You know, there's a lot of schools of thought about that. I do not worry about dust getting on the pieces because dust is going to get on the pieces. I use canned air to clean the dust off. I do not recommend vacuuming because, you know, stuff can get caught. Stuff can blow away that you don't want to have blow away. It doesn't work. I do not recommend under glass because moisture can get under glass because of the give and take. It's not flat like paper. So because of the air pockets in between stitch stuff, even if it's just flat stitching, you can get air pockets and you can get mold and a whole lot of icky stuff. Some people still put things under glass, but you know, canned air seems to blow things away, and tweezers if you get, you know, dog hairs like I do here all the time. Okay, I'm going to do another one of my little netted pieces. Now there's some people that are going to say, oh my goodness, no, you have to put it under glass, and that's fine. You know, my stuff, you can always take my stuff down and have it reframed and put under glass if that's what you want, but don't come crying to me if it gets mold and mildew in it, because that is a very, especially where I live, where there's a lot of fog, it's a damp area. It's a very distinct possibility. And I have, it's interesting, just recently on Instagram, I saw a gal who used to put all her stitch stuff under glass and had an episode where things got damaged. And she said, I will never frame under glass again. But to each their own. So I've got a little card that I'm going to print out so people can, you know, just about how to care for your art. The flat stitching I have been framing in, you know, regular picture frames because they're flat like pictures, just a little bit thicker, and then just taking the glass out. So as a way to get some inexpensive frames that still look really nice. And I had a few more of, I don't know if you guys remember years ago when I did the clusters and I mounted them on painted watercolor paper and matted them. And well, now they're in frames, the ones that I have left. I think there were 9. And wow, do they look good in frames. Hey, Joanne, back from doing her errands. This is a just because piece. I'm just randomly putting stuff down, and I will fill it in with knots and other stitches and hopefully make a smaller unearthed sculpture. Heck, I might even get this one done by the end of the second weekend of Open Studios. Who knows? All right. Now this one I'm doing, it looks like more little mountainy things, but once it's all gathered, it's just, again, it's just another way to get some texture in there to invite the eye to look a little closer. So again, I've got my gathers like that, and I'm just going to pull it. And I get a neat little poof. And this one's going to go, oh, I could just put it right in I like that. I'm going to put it right in the center of that thing. Terry said, I was very pleased to sell 8 or so hand-painted chicken cards last weekend. Yay. Oh, you have fun doing those. That's terrific. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that. All right. And now I'm just going to, I made those cards after spending time doing a really fun Zentangle. It opened up my creativity. Yep. And that's what something like this does for me. It's like, okay, I don't have to concentrate. I can just kind of play and see what I like. And then I start getting ideas. There's a big white piece on the frame behind me to work on. And so it gives me some ideas of things that I might want to remember to play with in that. I think I'm going to put the last piece over here. I think this is long enough. I can probably gather it. Whoops, wrong one. Where did it go? There it is. And that's one thing, all this prep stuff that I've been doing has been good thinking time. you know, because I'm not stitching as much, but I'm constantly thinking about ideas for the next project that I want to work on, and the next big project, the next small projects. And so I have so many ideas, more that are going to be in different colors. I want to do one that's going to have all the colors, just an absolute starburst of colors. And it'll probably start off like a doodle cloth, and that's okay. And I'm thinking of doing more work that's like, starts off almost like doing Crazy Quilt, where I'm doing blocks, only not legitimate blocks, just pieces, and then I will piece it together. Terry said, I was just missing you, Joanne. Nice to see you pop up. Hope all is well. Yeah. We miss our regulars when we don't see them for a while. Tanya was missing because she was sick. Other people life gets crazy. All right, so let's see what happens when I gather this one. Yeah, just enough to add a little poof. Joanne said, hi, Terry, I'm doing well. All right. Okay, what else do we have in my little box? This is some eyelash yarn that I have wrapped around a pipe cleaner. Maybe we need to just kind of, probably it's large, so let's put it on the, Sandy said, I've been missing my Barbie. Yeah, if you were on Facebook, you'd see some of the beautiful paintings she's been doing. She's really painting up a storm lately. I think I might stretch this out. Yeah, she hasn't been to a live for a long time. So I think on the pipe cleaner, I'm going to kind of make a spiral. Let's see what that's going to look like. Joanne's, Sandy said, I've got to go now, girls. Have a good day. See you later, Sandy. Joanne said, I felt like I had to be here today to work. Wish Susan well wishes for this weekend. Thank you. I will take that energy with me. It should be fun. And it doesn't look like it's going to rain. I think that's the only thing that's frustrating for people. Some people just don't want to go out if it's raining. Trying to twist this into a bigger spiral. I suppose if I have like some of my grassy stuff coming up around it, it'll be okay. I mean, it'll all be okay in the end. Sometimes the stuff does not look right. Barbara said, yes, have a fun weekend. I can't wait to read your today's happy. Well, I'm hoping it's going to be seeing the entire Still Points collection in frames. They're all frames. I just need to do the backing and wires, and I should have no problem hopefully doing that today. And take that's what I want to have for my picture today, but we'll see if I get that far. Terry said, I've been a bit absent from Facebook, just quick moments, been way too busy. Yeah, and you know, when life happens, that's what you got to do. I just can't decide where I want this to go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tack it the rest of the way down. It's secure here, but I'm going to let it just hang out. And I'm going to come over here, and these were some more knots. I'm going to just see if I can use up these loose ends. So that way it depends on what I put around here that I might want to do something different with the pipe cleaner. So can you start to get an idea how filled in with more stitching around it and beads, this can really become something kind of interesting, and then it can be sculpted. All right, so we're going to leave the pipe cleaner. We're going to come over here and just add this guy. Terry, the ephemera order that you got, is it all done or do you have to make it now? Barbara said, I've sort of stayed away from Facebook and IG lately. I'm wondering how much of what we're forced to see in our feeds is AI generated. How does one tell? Yeah, you have to be very careful. You start to develop an eye. I never would go to Facebook for any of my news. I pretty much assume, unless it's something from my friends, that it's fake. I don't trust any of that kind of stuff. There's a couple of people that do socially active things that I like to follow, that I trust. But otherwise, I just go to keep up with my friends and a couple of groups. All right, let's see. So we have a little, I think we can put another little mini pom-pom over here. I would never trust anything that I read politically on there, except for when people are reporting people that are venomous, and I need to check and see if it's somebody that I need to unfriend. But I've been fortunate not had that. Yeah, the groups on Facebook are this. I think you're right. I turned off for our group. I turned off the AI capabilities that it wanted to give us. It's like, no, we don't need that. We're perfectly capable. Oh, I know who's missing. Kat, if you're back there lurking, Kat, I hope all is well. I know you had a birthday recently. Hope you went looking for your cat. Terry said, oh, you need to make the ephemera order. I just got it in the last few minutes. Okay. I know some of your stuff is already made and some of it isn't. I just wasn't sure where you were with that one. Yeah, Michelle, a lot of it is AI generated. Well, I'm glad I'm using up a lot of these weird little odd bits that I've had hanging around, strange knots that didn't really go anywhere. There's not going to be that much to fill in. That'll be fun. And I'm just trying to gather enough of it. And you can also take like little bits of lace and just kind of gather them and tuck those in. I kind of save the lace for in the end if I need to fill a spot. Yeah, this is going to have a lot of texture. This is cool. And I have enough to come over. Let's see, we're going to come over here. And shoot, I would like to get those through. I wonder if I can do that with this. Gonna try. You know what? No, I know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to Terry said, I hope that you're getting paid. I've had 2 ads. Oh, I forgot to turn off the monetization. I'm sorry, guys. My apologies. I turn it on after the live. My live stream, well, my YouTube revenue has virtually disappeared. So I've got to get back to making videos after Open Studios, because I really need to have, it's not much, but it's like $100 a month. And I really need to have that little bit coming in to offset these ridiculous expenses lately. All right, so now I just have to hide a few little loose ends. My apologies on the ads. Thank you for letting me know I forgot. I usually turn them off during the live stream and then I turn them back on for the replays. I know the ads are not a lot of fun, but like I said, I don't have any classes going. I don't have any other way for it to be a simple thing where people aren't having to buy stuff from me. All right. And let's just cut this off. Wow, I think I cleaned out my little stash box. I might actually skip out a little early today so I can get back to work on my stuff. I'm skipping training today, even though the exercise is good, but I went on one walk already and I know I'll go on another walk, but I just can't afford the downtime. I do not get dollars if you skip the ads, but again, my apologies for putting it on the live stream because I do benefit when the ads run and anybody watches them. I do get a benefit, but I try to turn them off on the live stream and I just forgot today. Maybe that's a sign. Huh? Is that a sign that I should just let it go today? Michelle said, I have YouTube Premium, so I don't see any ads. They drive me crazy. Yeah, I know. Again, my apologies. I just don't have any other way to make any money being online unless I do a class, and I'm just not at a point where I can do that. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with this cord. I used up my little stash box, and now I'm feeling bad about the ads, which I can't go turn off right now. So maybe I will call it and go back to work on finishing the art things. Let me take this off of here and I can show that. Oh, thank you, Barbara. She said, I'll let them play in that case. You're the exception to that rule. I know there's a thing where you can have like the ads playing side by side or something. I'm not sure how that is. So this is my funky mess. And now I just need to get stitches in there and lots of beads. And that actually went together pretty quickly. I am not sad with that. And if you picture, here, I'll take it off of here and show you what I mean. Barbara said, don't feel bad about anything. We love you and only want the best for you. Have a wonderful time celebrating your art this weekend. Thank you. Tanya said, I know I'm weird. I like the ads because it's a reminder to take a quick break and stand up and move around again. You know, that's a really good idea, Tanya. So see, now when this starts to sculpt, it's all going to go every which way. It's going to look really interesting. Joanne said, thank you, Susan. Have a fabulous time this weekend. Thank you, everybody. I think it's going to be a lot of fun just to see people's reaction to my stuff. And I will be doing lots of videos, but probably only one that's going to go out before live stream or before Open Studios. I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the procedure, about what I've been going through doing it. And so I hope I can get that one up tomorrow. And then after live streams, there will be a whole lot of things that I will be showing you guys. Yeah, take an ad break. Ads come on. It's a good time to get up, do your little exercise, jump around a little bit, do march in place. My trainer has me march in place a lot just for cardio. It's very good for us. Any of that kind of stuff. And then she has you marching and doing your arms like that. You don't need any equipment. You can do it right where you are and get your heart pumping, and you're going to feel so much better. And yeah, Terry says you are going to be glowing. And I think I will, because I mean, why not? It's going to be fun. Yeah, march in place, so easy. And I also just do sidestep. You know, I'll do this. I'll sidestep back and forth, especially when the music's on, because you know how it is. There's some songs you can't help but get up and wiggle. Tanya says, this has been fun and interesting as always. Thank you, Susan. Have a great week. Well, thank you, Tanya. Continue to heal. I hope you feel better soon. All right, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.